Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hope you all are doing very well. Welcome to the training session series of e-learning from the Deanship of E-Learning and IIT. Myself, Rima Shaheen, and today we are going to discuss a very technical topic, that is instructional design for e-learning in higher education. As everyone know about it, we can't go away from the e-learning and things and courses of the e-learning after the COVID-19. So this is a essential part of our study and our teaching to create the things which is essential for the e-learning area. And also we are working for the traditions and the different, as we are now going offline most of the classes, and some of the classes are the still online classes. So we have to give awareness about the each and everything which is related to the something which is related to the traditional learning or teaching, and something related to the e-learning. So this is a very essential part for our study nowadays. So we are going to discuss a very technical topic, that is what is instructional design, and instructional design how to use for the e-learning courses, how you will be able to create your course according to the different models, according to the different design, how you will be able to design it. Okay, if I just explain this or just give a start of this terminology, that is instructional design. This is basically a design, development, and delivery of a learning experiences. It constructs those experiences in such a way that the learner acquire either knowledge or a skill. Our basic purpose is giving a basic need of our students. First of all, why we are using these kind of techniques and strategies to create your course more engaging for the students and more good for the students to get the productive outcomes. Instructional designers follow the various academic theories and models related to how people learn and cognitive processes behind the learning experience. These models ensure the instruction is as effective as possible for imparting knowledge or teaching skills to learners. So basically, what is actually the official instructional designing definition, if I explain like this: the Association for Education Communications and Technology defines instructional design as the theory and practice of design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation of a process and resources for learning. This one definition giving you a one complete big picture, what you are going to do, what you are going to learn, what actually the instructional design is. If I make I break down this definition, so I can judge that we are going to something talk about designing, development, the utilization of that particular thing you are going to design, and then you need to manage that one, and then you need to evaluate the process and the resources for the learning. Okay, let me a little bit more definition or giving you a more clear idea about the instructional design. That is the process by which instruction is improved through the analysis of learning needs and systematic development of a learning experiences. Here is the two lines you have to pick up. That is the two basic things that you have to analysis of the learning needs. What is actually the need of the students? As a educators, as a teachers, you have to just, of course, you are stick with the things which is need of the students. And the second part is the systematic development of learning experiences. So you have to develop that things which is actually the basically need of our students. We need a different equipments, we need a different tools, technology to implement that instructional analysis for the overcome the needs and to fulfill the needs of the students. Instructional designers often use the technologies and the multimedia as a tool to enhance the instructions. According to this definition, instructional designers have two primary functions. The first one is to analyze learning needs, and the second one is to systematically develop improved learning experiences. So right now we have two basic things, and we have to clear our mind that we are going to something learn which will help us to analyze the learning needs, how we will be able to identify what actually the needs, how we will just create the each and everything which will make a one complete course for the e-learning for the students, and then which kind of tools, which kind of systematical development things are needed to improve the learning experiences. Okay, the instruction design for the online learning, it's a process by which course designers plan out the structure and flow of their online courses, ensuring that all steps and parts are included so that their education goals are met. So this is the same thing if I'm talking about a simple instruction design for the traditional course, or if I'm talking about something which is related to the online learning, it's have a little bit just different things which is make it just the structure is the different, that the basic purpose is to design something, design a course, to plan out a structure and a flow of their courses, and ensure that all the steps and parts are included to fulfill their needs, fulfill their educational goals. Okay, instructional design for the online, implementing these instructional design techniques, what you have to do and what you can do. The first thing, develop a comprehensive planning process. Determine which design helps students learn more effectively, and identify any failure in the learning process. When you are going to design something, these are the basic things you have to focus on. This you have to be plan what actually you want to do, and you have to design the things which is effective for the students, and then you have to find the failure as well. What is actually the weak point, what is the actually the things which can make this learning process in a failure form. So you have to identify all these things. This is the important part of instruction design. Okay, like we are talking about just something which is related to the online learning. So online learning is directly, you can simply say you are going to design something as an e-content, e-course. You need to design the e-courses before you are planning and everything. You have some tools to implement your content. You have to use the three parts I just mentioned here. These are the basic, you can say the core part of the creating the e-content, that is the authoring tools, the video tools, the interactive content tools. If you just imagine a one complete course who just have different information about the inner slides and in a video form, and in something which is interactive for the students, for the engaging the students. So one complete e-content is just built by these different tools. Authoring tools help us to create the content for the e-content, the video tools, the different video tools. Of course, we are presenting something online or a e-content, so video, audio, these all are a part of a e-content. And the third is very important, that is an interactive content tools. This tool is giving you another picture for the e-content. For example, you are just creating a one simple slide and there is a no interaction between the students and a slide. So this is just a dummy. It's not a productive. To make your content productive, need some interactive content tools. Okay. Here is the mention some of the e-learning authoring tools. Basically, authoring tools giving you an opportunity to, you can edit your content according to your choice, you can add the different content parts on it. You have a Camtasia, you have a Adobe Captive, and these kind of different tools you can use, the Story 365, 360. So these are the different tools you can use to create your e-content. Okay, now this is time to back actually what is the purpose of this topic. I just giving you a one complete idea. We are going to design a course. What is the component of the course? You will be design some videos, you will design some interactive slides, you will design some interactive e-content. So these are the part of the course. Now come back how you will be create an instructional design for that course, for that online course. So this is basically the basic component of instructional design. The first one is analysis, then design and development, then testing and evaluation. Okay, what is basically analysis? Analysis phase is the foundation of a learning and the training process. The deliverables of this phase are building blocks for all subsequent design and development activities. Let me explain this by one of the diagram here. Before going to analysis anything, you have to identify the desired skill, what actually the need of the students, and then the marrying the existing skills, what actually we already have, and develop future vision, what actually you want to develop, and develop skill profiles, and then find out the actual gap between the future vision and what actually you have. And then you will go to close this gap. Basically, to implement any new thing, the purpose and the analysis, you will be just need to analyze that what is basically the gap, what you want to implement which is not already there, to give a more good outcomes, to give a more productive things. Then the second phase, that is you have to move towards to design that thing. So instructional design is the process of using our knowledge of how people learn to guide our choices of instructional sequences and strategies to meet the needs of learners and desired learning outcomes. So here is the part where you are going to give or implement some of the designs, some of the strategies, and which is must be help us to fulfill the need of the learners and desire learning. Okay, now I'm just figure out some of the instructional design software tools are here available. The first one is e-learning authoring tools. The second thing which help you to create your instructional design is a mind mapping tools. Third one is presentation tools, graphic and infographic tools, the video tools, the audio and sampling, interactive learning tools, survey tools, and the PDF and the flipping book tools. Okay, these all are mentioned here. We have a separate session on every of the point I just mentioned here. We have a just a session on authoring tools, the mind mapping, the presentation tools, the graphic infographic, video tools, each and everything as separately conducted one complete session to explain you how you will be work with the mind mapping tools and the authoring tools and the other tools. So these are the simple 9 points I just mentioned here. You can use these kind of the tools to help you to create the best instructional design. Okay, now the phase is development. The phase elaborates and builds on the e-learning learning objectives and performance steps that were produced in a design phase by fleshing out all the previous content that was created in the prior two phases, analysis and design, into a complete learning environment. Now it's time to develop what actually you analyze on the previous phase and what you design. Now it's a time of a development. To develop or implement any of the thing, you need some kind of predefined models already, which you are going to follow. we are going to discuss some instructional design models which help us to implement what actually we want. So these are the predefined international models we are going to use mostly for the instructional designers in academics, universities, higher educations use these kind of models to implement their instructional design for the courses. So an instructional design model is used to define the activities that will guide the development of e-learning projects. It allows you to communicate the purpose and the reason behind a strategy. This is basically a framework, gives you a bird eye view for all the major components that have to be included in the course. So this is one of the help to giving you a one complete predefined framework for you to implement your course according to that. So most famous model is use Addie. So we are going to see what actually it is. So you can see we have a different phases for this. The first one is analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. This is basically a basics, you can say, the phases of implement anything. So we are going to follow these instruction design model. Let's have a look what actually its work and what actually the means of these all phases.
In this video, I'll provide a general overview of the Addie model of instructional design. Addie is one of the most popular models for creating training curriculum. The Addie model provides learning designers with an essential structure for designing curricula in any learning environment, such as in education, corporate settings, government, nonprofit, or any other organization where learning takes place. Addie is composed of 5 essential stages: analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Let's take a look at each of these in more detail, starting with the analysis stage. At the analysis stage, instructional designers gather information and make decisions that will make the training development process much smoother later. There are several major activities that occur at this stage. Instructional designers identify the training needs. Learning objectives are created that address the needs. They define who their audience is to which the instruction will be targeting. The training content is selected that will help the target audience achieve the learning objectives. The most appropriate delivery methods are then selected. The resources and constraints are established that direct by when the project will be complete, the budget allotted, and the resources available. During this stage, communication begins with those who may be involved in the design or implementation. This may include graphic designers, corporate trainers, and more. This information is used to guide the activities of the instructional designers during the next stage, the design stage. During the design stage, the instructional designer creates the blueprint for the instruction. There are several major activities included in this stage. The learning content and information is sequenced into logical segments or units. Storyboards are created for e-learning modules or training videos. Rough drafts of scripts or training outlines are created. Digital media, print media, and other deliverables are prototyped. Communication continues with the design team and the SMEs. The learning project's instructional, visual, and technical design strategies are documented and reviewed by the relevant stakeholders on the project. These aspects need to be signed off before moving on to the next stage. Once the design of the instruction is signed off by the stakeholders, instruction is moved into the next stage, development. Several important activities happen during the development stage. The developers create, assemble, and organize the digital and print deliverables that were begun in the design phase. Training videos are recorded, edited, and produced.
In the phase of the development, you are going to use the different tools to create your videos, the interactive content, and the authoring tool. These tools help you to create your content, what actually you want to give the deliverables. So in the phase of the development, you are using these kind of the tools.
And any technological aspects of training are tested and finalized. The project documentation of the strategies are further reviewed and feedback is given to the instructional designers. Some or all of the training may be piloted with a select group of individuals, including members of the learning design team. Once the stakeholders sign off on the design strategies, the project is moved into the next stage, the implementation stage. This is the stage in which training actually is delivered. During this stage, videos, e-learning, help aids, and other materials are accessed by the participants. Also, the learners outside of the test groups now participate in the classes and training. Evaluation intersects with each of the other stages of the training process. This involves two major components, the formative evaluation and the summative evaluation. The formative evaluation describes the examination that is done throughout the other four stages of the training process. The formative evaluation allows those involved in the training or curriculum development to recognize potential barriers to the training before they happen, respond to training challenges as they occur, avoid repeating mistakes, and make course corrections as needed. The summative evaluation focuses on examining the outcome of the training during the implementation stage. The information gathered from the summative evaluation continues to guide the project design process. In the Addie model, these 5 stages are not always linear. They build off one another, and how this model is implemented will vary depending on the project.
So this model helps to each phase to the another phase. It's interconnected, the analysis to design, and analysis to implementation, evaluation. So these all phases are interconnected. So there is a wide range of making the corrections, and you can just, if you are feeling that any phase is weak point, so you have to be build it up.
In this
Okay, the next one is the Bloom's taxonomy. So let's have a look what actually this one is. This is basically, you can say, the reverse process. It starts from the remembering, then understanding, then you will be apply, then analyze, then evaluating, and then you will be able to create this one. So let's have a look what actually it works.
Bloom's taxonomy is a toolbox that teachers or students can use to classify and organize learning objectives. Its most popular version is based on the cognitive domain and assumes that learning should be structured from easy to difficult in the following 6 steps. 1. Remember. 2. Understand. 3. Apply. 4. Analyze. 5. Evaluate. 6. Create. On the first level, we learn to remember. There is just rote memorization and recollection of facts without much understanding. For example, if we learn about lemons, we want to remember the name, shape, color, size, and that they are sour. Once we memorize these essentially meaningless facts, we move to the second level of learning. On level 2, we learn to understand. We begin to decode information and learn that a lemon is yellow when it's ripe to eat, and if we take a bite, that it's really super sour. We also understand that lemons love sunshine and that they contain lots of vitamin C, which is a great natural antioxidant that keeps us healthy. Now, as we really understand a lemon, we can work with it. On the third level, we apply what we know. We've understood that while lemons are sour, they are also a great provider of vitamin C. To apply this knowledge in a meaningful way, we could boil a lemon into hot water and add some honey. Then serve this hot lemon to our sick sister who's in need of treatment. On the fourth level, we learn to analyze. This involves examining and breaking down information into components, determining how the parts relate to one another, and finding evidence to support generalizations. We study the lemon flesh, examine the skin, and look at levels of vitamins. We conclude that we can eat everything inside, while the skin tastes bitter and contains traces of toxic pesticides. It ought not to be consumed. Now we are ready to evaluate. We analyze, critique, and compare. To evaluate our lemon as a good source of vitamins, we compare it to other sources, such as oranges and supplements. We look at the following properties: vitamin levels, affordability, taste, and packaging waste. If we evaluate our thoughts critically and without bias, we learn where the lemons score high and where others score higher. Now, after we have learned, understood, applied, analyzed and evaluated, we are ready to create. As we now really understand lemons, also in comparison to similar things, we can formulate a plan to create our own natural lemonade. It's now easy to come up with a cute shop design, a good name, and a good slogan: natural, healthy, yummy. Bloom's taxonomy was first created in 1946 by American psychologist Benjamin Bloom. The revised version from 2001, as just presented, serves as the backbone of many teaching philosophies, in particular, those that aim towards teaching specific skills. Each level usually comes with a clear learning objective that can be tested. Critics of the taxonomy often question the existence of a sequential, hierarchical link between each level. What are your thoughts? Please share them in the comments below.
So this is basically by the one example explaining about what actually the Bloom's taxonomy. So it's just if you are seeing the part, these are the reverse, like from the remember, understand, and then you will be analyze, evaluate, and then you will be able to create this one. So next, move toward the third one, that was the Gagne's 9 events of instructions. This is one of the model which gives you a different part. These are the 9 different steps you have to follow. The first one is again the students' attention, inform students of objectives, stimulate recall of the pure learning, present the content, provide learner guidance, like performance, and then provide feedback, and assesses the performances, and then enhance retentions and the transfer to the job. So these are the different 9 steps you have to follow if you are going to use this instructional design model. Let's have a look what actually the meaning of all these 9 steps.
The Conditions of Learning by Robert Gagne. You've probably never thought about how someone learns to throw a ball, or how a child learns to write. They are very different skills, but the steps in learning them are quite similar and have been theorized by Robert Gagne's Conditions of Learning. So who was Robert Gagne? Well, he was born in 1916 in Massachusetts. He trained as an education psychologist and worked in aviation during World War II. After the war, he returned to education and went on to write his seminal work, The Conditions of Learning, in 1965. Gagne states that there are many types of learning, which require different instruction. He identifies 5 major categories of learning. The first of these is verbal information, which is simply memorizing facts and being able to recite them later on. Intellectual skills are not only knowing what, but how to do something, like solving a puzzle. Cognitive strategies allow us to manage and plan our learning process, telling us how to go about performing tasks. Motor skills are based around precise muscular movements to engage in an activity, such as swinging a golf club. Finally, attitudes are the outcomes of learning that influence choices of personal action, such as influencing a willingness to exercise. Gagne also goes on to outline 9 events of instruction, which he states are events external to the learner that support the internal processes of learning. The first of these is to gain attention. This is a stimulus of some sort to begin instruction, such as a story or connecting with the learner's own experiences. Informing the learner of the objective is telling the learner what they'll be able to do at the end of the instruction. An example of this is telling a class that they will be able to write narrative texts. Next step is to stimulate recall of prior knowledge. This is connecting what the learner is about to learn to what they already know. Presenting the materials is the next step. This involves presenting content across a range of different modes, so as to best engage the learner. The next step is to provide guidance to the learner. This is to ensure the learner is comfortable during the various learning activities at all times, and to assist them if they are confused. Step 6 is to elicit performance. This is where the learner can practice and apply their skills. This gives the learner a chance to develop on their own under the guidance of their instructor. The next step is to give feedback. This feedback should be specific instead of general by providing specific praise and criticism so the learner is fully aware of where to go next. Step 8 is to assess performance. This is where the learner can be evaluated and their success determined. It also identifies areas where the learner can improve. Finally, step 9 is enhanced retention and transfer. This allows a review of the lesson and gives the learner a chance to apply their skills in the field and to see if they have retained them. So what are the benefits of Gagne's conditions of learning? Well, it provides a stepped approach for the learning process. It allows the learner to be fully engaged when all the steps are followed. And it allows the educator to stop and reflect on their own practice.
So this is a main basic benefit of this instructional model, that all the procedure of the implementing of anything, the learner will be engaged with all those phases, and it is allowing that it's possible that the learner can stop the instructor or a teacher on any point which is not understandable for the students.
That they have followed each of the steps involved in the learning process.
Okay, we just go through all of the specifically which is mostly used the instructional model and how it works. We are giving a different demonstration about the instructional models. You can use any of them and you can implement what actually you want to implement for the students' productive outcomes. So this is the last part, that is evaluation. Evaluation is a process of determining whether the design instruction meets its intended goals. In addition, evaluation helps us to determine whether the learner can transfer the skills and knowledge learned back into a long-term change in behavior and skills required for the target context. So you have to know about actually the what is the reactions of the learning process and what is actually the behavior and the result. These are the 4 parts of the evaluation. You will judge by the reactions that what actually they learn, and you will be judged by the behavior what actually the results of what you already implemented. Okay, let me give you a one real-time example here to make the things more easy. That, for example, you just see we in a design university before implemented the 2016, I guess 2016, they implemented the learning management system. The first one was the Jasur, I guess, and then Jump, and then Blackboard. So these are the different learning management system. Why they implemented this one? They implemented to actually to find out the gap for the students who are not eligible to come to the campuses. They have implemented distance learning. They need a one complete platform to implement the e-learning environment for them and giving them opportunity to get the education easily, right? Then they implement that one, then they tested that one. Why they changed the different LMS systems? Basically they want to fulfill the needs of the students, which is not completely adjustable with the Jasur, and they jump they then go toward the Jump system, the Design University multiple platform, and then move toward the Blackboard. So the steps going through these all steps, this is a basically one of the part of the implementation and the testing. They test what actually they are not stick with the one of the platform, they just keep improving that one to give the actually what students needs, and they want productive outcomes. So this is a basically a one simple example for you to judge that how they implement and how we are going to use these in a real time, and we have to use the different models to implement our course to make the things more clear to the students to get the more productive outcomes. Thank you so much. Hope I explained well. If you have any question, you can ask me.